Miigwech, Michum, Namanas, Wisnin, Ruby.
Oh, that royalty right there?
Yeah, that's one. Temagami for the sugar bush.
Yeah, about 89 and 1990 is when we came in here hardcore, like really set up and started making sugar in here again. Sugar wasn't really made in here for a long time. Camp Wabin made sugar in here. I think back in the 60s and the 50s there was a fellow by the name of Peter Norby. I found some of his spiles still in the trees and a lot of his pots and pans and laying on the ground. That's when I realized this really was a sugar bush and it wasn't a woodlot. We went to Chief and Council and TAA and the Ministry of Natural Resources. They didn't have this documented on any maps as an area for making maple sugar. But I have a lot of experience in sugar bushes since I was very young. At the age of 8, 9, 10, and 11 and 12 is when I started making sugar around the Grand River area, Six Nations and Brantford. It's easy for me to identify a sugar bush and I can pick up signs pretty easy if people have been in there before. One thing about maple trees is they live a long time. They have a lifespan that can go up to 300 years sometimes, 200 years for sure. And when you look at maple trees, if anything like a fence line has been built around them or somebody leaves a hammer in a tree or a nail or a spike, you can still identify and see that even though the tree is grown up and the bark grows over it. Sometimes you find things in trees that people from 50 or even 100 years ago have left behind. It's just the way that trees grow. Sometimes people leave axes in trees and the handles are still sticking out. It didn't take me long as soon as I came up here. I was brought up here by people from Bear Island because they knew the area and the lake the best. And I asked the elders on Bear Island if there was a place where I could make maple sugar. And right away I had a 100% positive response. Can I get filmed with this in my mouth?
What?
No, I was just joking. I just wanted to see what Amanda would say. I can name the names of all the people that helped. There's a list of about 20 people, elders, and they all gave me an encouragement and they inspired me to keep going even when I wanted to give up and it was too hard to try to work the sugar bushes. The actual work in the bush is just basically cutting wood, packing down trails, tapping trees, boiling syrup. But the politics of the situation became more overwhelming and more difficult than the actual labor intense of the working in the bush. But one thing is that Out of all the sugar bushes that I've worked in the Appalachian Mountains in southern Ontario around the Great Lakes region, this sugar bush here has had the most amazing experiences that I've ever encountered. $900 more to go. And to do all that work and not to have people come into the sugar bush, in my view, is a waste of time. So all our sugar camps that we build are oriented around bringing out the students, school kids, into the bush. Because we're getting older, what's the point of working out in the bush doing something if you're not going to teach the younger children of the generation what's going on and let them work the sugar bushes too? That's how I grew up, knowing stuff. I started when I was 7 and 8 years old, and my dad actually took me to places to get taught how to make sugar and grow corn and get involved in agriculture. So to teach the next generation of children at a young age is very important, because they have it instilled in their brain and their mind, so they're not stressed out when they get older. The bush doesn't stress me out.
Getting older does.
Yeah, getting older stresses me out. I think when you're used to being in an outdoor environment at a young age, when you get older, it helps you because you're not afraid of the bush, you're not stressed out by being in it, and it helps you get your work done because you're not afraid of your environment. And you have to learn that at a younger age. You just can't take somebody that's in your midlife and bring them out into the bush if they've never been in the bush before. They'll have a midlife crisis. We want to look at the health of the tree. Yeah. So just look at the top to see if all the branches are good. And
how would you know they're good? Like,
yeah,
they're like that?
Well, this tree's healthy, so even if that branch isn't functioning anymore, this tree's got a good healthy crown. So come down this side and you'll see some nice good spots there. We only want to go maybe waist high or 2 feet up, as close to the bottom of the trunk as possible.
Like right around.
So anywhere around here you can put a tap in.
Yeah.
And so just kind of smooth it out with the hatchet. That's good.
Right here?
Yeah.
That's good.
Just get. Now, you've got your point where you stab your drill in. Now, one thing you got to remember is that you are only going in
like that much?
This far. So the spigot or the spile is only going into the tree about 2.5 inches, barely under 3.
Okay.
So I've got, usually I put a magic marker or I file that down. You can see some scratch marks in there. The other thing is, you want, because of gravity, that's the way the earth works, you want to keep the drill at a
an
slight angle,
like this,
because the sap is flowing down and out of the tap.
And will it just come pouring out?
So it come pouring out. So you want this at a slope. So
okay,
you
so
can
like
start drilling. That's a good position there. But you probably want your hand on there because you need to.
Okay, there I got it. I think.
I know this is the old school way.
To get it old school.
Try to keep it as steady as possible, the drill bit.
I see what you mean now.
And
right there, maybe?
no, you got to keep going.
Okay.
You got to keep going in about 2.5 inches.
Right.
And I think we've tapped.
Right here?
More. We've tapped about 500 trees once with a brace and bit, but usually we use a power drill. We usually tap about 900 taps. I think the most we did was 1,200 taps. That's 1,200 buckets.
Yeah, how about that? Is that good? Or is that too much?
More. Keep going.
Okay. Let me know when.
On average, every year we're usually hanging about, we try to hang between 500 and 800 pails. You're almost there.
Home stretch.
Okay, Sabo.
Okay. Did I just pull her out or I have
Yeah.
to unwind it?
Unwind it and pull it out. And then grab a little twig from wherever.
I'm not going the right way.
And sometimes I like eating this because it's nice and clean.
It's edible?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
And then just clean out that hole quickly. And that should be good. And then stick your spile in there and just tap it in lightly, make sure it's straight. Gee. Again, I usually give it 4, 5 little taps.
Sorry about that.
Okay, there.
And then,
And now you're ready to hang your bucket.
cool.
These people here, they're like the first children that he got involved in the education of making maple sugar and like harvesting it and whatnot. And like now these children are these kids, like they have kids that come from the Laura Mackenzie Learning Center who have been coming here for about 4 or 5 years now. To learn how to make maple sugar. Like it's important to have this education and teachings about making maple syrup because like when Mark or like whoever, like when they get elderly, they won't be able to do this. So we need more people to come in and who want to take over and who know like how to survive and get things going and the whole process of making it. So maple sugar.